just looks way better or way worse on the phone.
Yeah, with this dopamine detox that I've been doing, I think the hardest thing for the first week was no caffeine.
You drink coffee, right? Like quite a bit.
Yeah, I was drinking coffee maybe like 5 days a week at least, usually. And recently, the last 3 days, I had my biggest challenge yet, which was waking up early as shit in the morning and then going to work. I've been drinking herbal tea every morning, which has helped, I think, with my energy.
Yeah, I had some herbal tea on Wednesday night. That was really nice. I was sick though.
But yeah, I mean, I think taking this break has helped me realize, oh, I don't even need caffeine to really live life, you know?
Yeah.
Although I love coffee, I know I'm going to
Go back to
it again.
Yeah.
It's just a nice little break. This is something that I could consider doing maybe every January, just as a reset, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I respect you and Morgan for trying that.
Like, will I do semen retention every January? Probably not.
Yeah, that's very difficult. You're on 10 days?
Yeah.
How you been feeling, just like overall?
I know the first 6 days were really hard, and I had a wet dream, I think, on day 6 or 7. So that was like a little odd. And there's something about wet dreams that caused me to feel more sexual, I suppose. It's like my body is just trying to gear up to release all that extra shit inside of me. So like I wake up and all of a sudden I feel like I'm more susceptible to lust, I suppose. Not in like anything inherently negative. It's just I just feel really horny, that's all.
Right.
So within that regard, the couple days after that was hard, but I have been with my girlfriend a couple times since then in like a sexual manner, and both times I was able to refrain from releasing.
Yeah, that's hard to do, bro.
So I think I've been doing a good job.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's just gotten a little bit easier, honestly.
That's what I have found when I've done it. Well, you know, I did a long streak, and to be honest, like, I've done a couple of pretty long ones, and I noticed a lot of benefits, but at a certain point, I feel like it becomes almost a little unhealthy. When you hold your seed in for like 100 days.
Oh yeah, that does sound unhealthy.
It wasn't, I don't think it was really good, but you know, okay, so I did that in 2020, and for 200 days, and like, there were definitely good things about it. Like, I always felt very energized, but at the same time, I felt like it was almost the spiritual ego, like, oh dude, semen retention, 200 days, all these benefits unlocked. But because I think that was what the video I made was called. But like nowadays, and I would definitely be willing to try like going again for at least maybe a month, but I've been pretty consistent with, you know, like trying to go once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and not go any more than that, because I feel like
Okay.
What's up, guys? Shadow Ascent over here. We are together. We don't normally come together often, but we are here now. We hiked to the top of a hill at a local recreation area, and we are really just embracing life and taking everything by moment.
It can be very hard to do sometimes.
I know life gets pretty busy, and there are self-development or self-help gurus out there that try to emphasize the need to stay busy, to push yourself beyond your limits, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but there are times to just take a break and do something relaxing, but in a productive manner, like we are out here right now.
Yeah, I think productivity is something that we can almost kind of misconstrue in that sense, because like, yeah, you want to do, you know, your work and handle your exercise and everything you got to do, because every one of us, especially once you reach a certain point, become very busy. But productivity can also just be a chill walk, talk, conversation. It can be a nice hike, kind of like what we're doing right now. And one thing about life is a lot of times you can kind of just feel a little bit stuck, like you're not really doing anything with your life or going anywhere. But I noticed that in my experience, like when I look back on the past, I realize a lot has actually evolved and changed over time. And so I don't know, I think that's where it's difficult as humans, because we're so busy, it's hard to live in the moment. But you do want to at least have activities that can kind of center yourself and ground yourself. And it's good to get out here and make this video, which both of us together, you know. Wish we could do that more often, but it's all good, you know. Definitely when we get the chance, it's nice for sure.
Yeah, grounding activities to build on that, I feel like are really important, and literally grounding yourself in reality and staying present for the most part in life. There are obviously day-to-day anxieties and feelings of depression or feelings of potentially a lack of self-worth. But if you have those core activities that you ground yourself in, you come back to those. And something like this, just something as simple as getting outside, is something that's really important to me. And I value this time outside, whether it's individually or with a friend, with my girlfriend or my brother, or even taking out my dog. I know personally, I mean, there's bad days and there's good days, but I've shifted in my perspective. There has been a lot that I've overcome the past year, and with that, my perspective has shifted. I have built this mental toughness, and there are things that I want to do to try to mitigate staying too comfortable or complacent in life, and trying to ground myself in activities such as this, but also working out too, things that I don't necessarily want to do, but I feel like are a necessity in order to stay grounded and feel a little bit more alive and accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in life you gotta have some kind of like passion and joy, or something that gets you excited, whether it's an activity or your circumstance in life, or even just the journey as a whole. Like, being passionate about it is huge. It's a big step, because a lot of times when we're depressed or we're anxious or we have nothing that we feel like is going for us, maybe we lack that a little bit. And so, you know, whatever it is, like, in order to find those passions, you have to be willing to do something you've never done before, or try something new. And that's a big goal going into this new year, you know, try to learn new skills, try to take on new challenges as we delve further into manhood. That's kind of the journey that we're on. And so let's get it, you know. 2024, Happy New Year to you guys, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I know. Yeah, I mean, we're on that journey of manhood, and I was going to say something in response to what you're saying, but I can't quite remember. I know, just generally just trying to maintain a trajectory of growth and try not to stay too comfortable with things.
You know, simultaneously, I would say, like, gratitude like humility and love, balancing those things out too is big, because you can lose sight of that sometimes, you know, just the ability and the privilege it is to just wake up and be healthy and go do the things you want to do. It's so important to acknowledge those things at the same time, having that balance. I think I don't know if we're gonna upload this after, but I did have a video recently talking about like the 4 most important qualities, at least to me, and it's like love, gratitude, discipline, and humility. Those are the 4 most important things, and like I think it's just good to focus on, I'd say, your own growth, but simultaneously the things that you have, and being very aware and not taking things for granted. You know, we're all very fortunate just to be alive, quite frankly. Don't want to lose sight of that. It's a beautiful day out here.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll have a moment of silence here just to take a deep breath, just take things by moment. Sometimes you need to slow down. I know there are a lot of things that I want to accomplish in this year, this next year or so, obviously the rest of life. But I was honestly afraid of taking directed action. I was afraid of handling the pressures of life for a long time. It seemed like embracing truly the meaning of adulthood and just taking on the perspective that it just sucked and it's really cringy and it just doesn't feel right. It's too hard, so I would engage in bad habits. I think smoking weed was definitely one of them. There are things that you use to escape in life, and some of them aren't really that healthy. I think smoking weed is something that's okay occasionally. It's fine. It's also just dependent on who you are as an individual. I'm not going to shame you for smoking weed, because I definitely have had an attachment to it before. But I am slowly releasing that attachment. Right now I am on I believe I am on day 10 of dopamine detox. And with that, I have cut out caffeine, weed, alcohol. I am also on semen retention, and I am not eating desserts or pastries. So something as basic as that to reset myself mentally, physically. I have never done anything like this before or committed myself to it. Day 10, and honestly, it's getting a little bit easier, but I'm sure there will be challenges that arise along the way. But the intention is to commit myself to something that is challenging and prove to myself at the beginning of this year, like, hey, I'm capable. I can achieve things. There's a lot of room for growth, for sure, but I am capable and I am able. I have the ability to commit myself to specific courses of action and taking that directed action. It was always hard for me. I questioned my purpose for a long time, but within that, I knew that my core issues were really based on me and a lack of directed action and staying complacent. I knew that deep down, yet I never took that action. And that's what kind of made depression worse, knowing that I could be doing this thing, knowing what would help me, but I was honestly too much of a bitch to do it.
And that's impressive, especially the dopamine detox. Like, in a world that we live in currently, it's just everywhere. There's dopamine and social media and all these things, and so that's definitely something that, like, it can only be healthy. It's challenging, and that's the whole point to it. And I believe it was the night of the 1st or maybe the 2nd of January where I sat down and set some resolutions, and one of them was to be really continuing on the path of building my confidence, which is something that I've always had problems with in the past, particularly with people, definitely with women. I've definitely struggled with that. And it's not just about that, but just being more comfortable in my own shoes, like not being afraid to express myself in a lot of situations. And that goes for even like my parents. Sometimes I can be afraid to have like conversations with them, real discussions with them. And I think part of that is like just being their child, and now becoming a man. It's like you have to almost learn how to adapt to that and figure out your way from child to adolescent to then adult, which is very difficult. I also want to keep on, because I think that's one thing about going into a new year, is that like you have your goals, resolutions, the things you want to add or the things you want to apply, but then there's the things you want to keep doing. And for me, working out is the biggest thing for sure. Like I got into the best physical shape of my life over this past year, and I want to keep going with that. And there's bumps, there's bruises. I was just recently sick, so I had to take a couple of days off. And like sometimes you just need that, not just because you feel sick physically and weak, but energetically as well. And it's a big passion of mine. I notice how much better I feel when I go to the gym and when I run and when I work out and just get outside and am physically active. And there were some other goals as well that are actually on my notes right now, but it's all aligned with just trying to continuously push myself to be the best I can possibly be, and that's the thing, right? I'm not trying to beat anybody to a certain goal or outcompete people. Like I'm just trying to be continuously growing and bettering myself in any way possible, but also finding the love within and appreciating the fact that I'm imperfect, and that I have a lot of flaws, and that no matter what will always be the case. Just trying to balance those thoughts out. But here we are.
Yeah, I love to hear that from you. It's inspirational, and the goal here with this channel for this year is trying to inspire people. And I mean, I think we're building, or at least we had the goal of building a niche that's more of an emphasis on masculinity, but I think also just general personal development that can apply to anybody is what our content could be for. And the goal is to be inspiring others and offering our insights to our life experiences and our ups and downs, because it's only January. There is a long year ahead, and who the fuck knows what's going to happen.
Right.
We don't know. We're out here now, and we're just trying to take it one step at a time. And we're shifting our perspective slowly to something that's more likely to be maintained, I suppose. I can't think of the word exactly, but our perspective is something that we feel like we can maintain over the long term.
Mm-hmm. And even if there's times where we don't, or we feel like we're losing sight, that's why there's two of us working this channel, right? We can push ourselves too, and I definitely think we can do it. And that's why we want to make these videos to like inspire and offer our insight, but also we want to open the door for others as well, and not only connect with people but hear what other people have to say, because life is challenging, man. All of us have our own story and as cliche as it sounds, trials and tribulations. So we're obviously very open to hearing anything that anyone even wants to say as well, and we inspire you to march on, continue going with your life, and just go after whatever it is that you ultimately want to achieve and improve upon. And Shadow Ascent here,
Thank you for watching, guys.
Yeah,
appreciate you. If you made it to the end, you're a trooper. Appreciate you. These videos maybe are not for everyone, but we're out here just trying to live life, taking things one step at a time. So hope you enjoyed.
Feel free to subscribe, and Shadow Ascent.